Hey everyone, J-Ro here, back with another Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis video. Today I'm here to ask you a question. Would you like to get your Eligor Co-op Crash Clear done and completed? Well, I am here to invite you to Ryder's Discord, the Curseborn Discord. There you can go into the FFEC Co-op Crash Clear and request for to get a carry. So, what I'm going to do here today, now that I've invited you to come to the Discord, is I want to go over a few builds that I suggest that you bring. At the current moment, I've done a number of clears with different people, and I am still looking to do more clears. There's a number of people in the Discord willing to help you get your clear done, but we want to be able to answer the first question that everyone's going to ask you, and that is, what character can you bring to the co-op? Because we will work around you. Okay, so let's click in here. Let's go to a blank slate here. Don't pay attention to my cloud. All right. So we got a blank slate here. So first and foremost, I think who is the most pivotal person in the co-op battle is Angeal. So for anyone who's already done it or has gotten Angeal's weapons kind of built up, any Angeal outfit, you have this one with HP and physical defense, this one with HP and magic defense, this is the gear voucher, or if you just so happen to have his limit break outfit for the boost defense all allies. Either one of these three will work perfectly. For this video, we'll click on the HPM def. Alright. So for weapons, and I'm only going to go over front end because you'll have to use your determination on how you want to build your R abilities and stuff in your back end, but I will give you suggestions to what you should use for these characters. So Angeal's role, he is literally here to tank. He is here to provoke the enemy into attacking him and only him, so your DPS can do its job. So with this, you can either run Tranquility, which you already see is here. Tranquility gives both provoke and veil. You could pair this with the Gargantuan Monolith, so I put it on. This is the setup that I've always told people to use: is Monolith in the main hand and Tranquility in the second hand. What Monolith does is that Monolith gives magic defense high tier, and it also gives provoke. Okay, so what this will do is there's a phase where you take physical defense down, and then there's a phase that you take magic defense down, and majority of Eligor's attacks are magic base. So you want to be able to have magic defense up, especially depending on how your healer is set up. Alternative to this, instead of using Monolith, you can also use the Stillwater Integrity, which is it gives physical defense up high, along with giving everyone in the party physical attack buff. So also good as an opposite to Kimura Wand. Alright. Probably the more accessible version of being able to have veil and provoke would be to use Monolith and then use the Great Sword A. The Great Sword A gives physical defense down to all the enemies and gives him an 8% veil. So that veil is, because veil is the most important thing here, because Angeal is going to be tanking a lot of hits, and that veil is giving him an additional amount of damage you're able to take. Okay, so this combination here, you would start off with using the Gargantuan Monolith to provoke the enemy, and then from there on you would do the Great Sword A to keep your veil up, and then recast the provoke as needed. Okay, so what are good sub weapons for him? Well, because Eligor's attacks are lightning based, you would want to go into and probably filter by lightning resist. Okay, and you could put on any of these weapons. Magic defense all. This is a guild weapon. Magic defense all and lightning resist perfect. The Leviathan Buster and Leviathan Cutter, those are from, of course, the Leviathan summon event. These are free. You can get those and get those powered up. They have lightning resist. And of course, you got Nameless here, which are all mainstays that you could have for lightning resist, of course, and then leather gloves as well. Okay, and of course, you also want to be able to have Angeal's HP as high as you possibly can, close to 17k or more. All right, physical defense close to 200, magic defense anywhere 250 and higher. Okay. All right, so that'll take care of our tank. Let's take a look at our healer, our second most important person, because the tank can't survive without the healer, and the DPS can't output extra damage without the healer. So in this case, we have Aerith as the healer that I've primarily been using in the co-op clears. You can either have her in her Terra's outfit, preferably her Bahamut's robe, or if you have Garnet's gown, or if you have the Kamara dress. All of these are very viable. Alternatively, on the gear voucher side, you have the healer MDef here from the Rosie battle suit, so that would work as well. For this example, I am going to click on the Bahamut robe. Alright, so what's the main weapons to bring for Aerith? So the best build that you could bring would be to bring Kamara and Terra's Rod. Oh, and I meant to note this when I did Angeal, but this also goes for Aerith as well. OB level of your weapon does not matter. We have gotten people cleared through with 5-star weapons of all of the weapons that I'm going to be telling you about and that I have told you about. For instance, we carried someone the other day with just a 5-star Kamara and a 5-star Terra. So it is doable. So don't think just because you have a low OB, I can't build this character. Alright. So going back into my discussion here about what to build for Aerith. So you want, for the maximum possibility, you can use Kamara Wand and Terra's Rod. Kamara Wand, especially if your DPS is physical, because Kamara will give him physical attack up while giving Angeal magic defense up. Okay. Then Terra's Rod is here to give us the high tier ice resist down. Alright. Alternatively, if you don't have one of these two, or only have one of these two, you can interchange them with a healing weapon. If you just so happen to have Bahamut's Rod, you can go Bahamut's Rod in any combination of the two. If you go Bahamut's Rod, Terra's Rod, that means the DPS loses the physical attack up, which if the DPS is Cloud or Yuffie, they can pivot and kind of raise their own physical attack up to compensate. But in most cases, even if you lose one of the debuffs, it wouldn't necessarily hurt your damage if the DPS is strong enough. Okay, and then like I said, the second combination here could be Kamara and Bahamut's Rod. So you lose the ice resist down, which will cause the fight to be a little bit longer, but like I said, with a strong enough DPS, the fight is still very manageable. So I'm doing all this talk about physical support, physical DPSs. So what if you have a magic DPS? Well, if you have a magic DPS, Chimera Wand is less useful. So you could go with Citric Wand. Okay? This is the weapon that allows you to do a high tier magic attack up and a high tier ice damage up. So that's perfect for Yuffie and Sephiroth. But the thing is, you lose. So since you lose the magic defense up, the best build for Angeal would be to bring the Monolith and either Great Sword A or also Tranquility. Okay, so he can be able to buff his own magic defense. And then of course, if you have the Princess Guard, it's even better because you can provide additional ATB, so the DPS can go ahead and get more damage out. All right, and I think that does it with Aerith. So last but not least is your DPS. So you have a few options for DPS. Physical wise, you have Cloud. Cloud has his ice setup, which is probably the best ice setup. I'll show you mine after I go through everyone's. Then you have Tifa. She has a physical ice setup. If you just so happen to have been around for Christmas banners last year, you probably have her outfit, if you decided to pull for it. And then the last ice DPS for physical would be Zac with his glacial armor and pressured ridge, in which then you could also compensate for the Bahamut's not Bahamut's rod, but for the Terra's rod, because this weapon does do its own ice resist down. It's a little bit less on the damage percentage side, but it gets the job done. Okay? So what about magic? So for magic, we have Sephiroth. If you have his Edged Wing Training Guard for his Arcanum, and then also Edged Wings, which is our oldest magic ice set, which is our oldest ice set in the game, honestly. And then we have our newer magic ice, which is Yuffie. You can go with her and her Nanaki Mantle and her Little Red Reef. Alternatively, you could even try for a physical Yuffie as well, because her outfit isn't kind of tied to any particular physical or magic attack. You could also go with Spiral Shuriken, which gives her Ice Ninjutsu. And then if you just so happen to don't have an Aerith with a Chimera Wand, you could always put on Arctic Star, and she can buff her own physical attack and also do the ice damage. Or if you need the Imperil, you can put in the Pinwheel, which gives her ice resist down. So you have many options when it comes to Yuffie. Okay, so here's a look. Let's go take a look at my Cloud, and that'll give you a good idea of a super strong DPS. Alright, so my Cloud, he has on his Saber style outfit for physical attack and Frostblade Arcanum. He has on the Stream Saber for physical attack all allies and ice potency. He has the Lock Sword for attack and ability potency, and this also allows him to raise his ice damage up mid-tier on the first cast, high on the second. Alright, I also have him with his Ultimate Buster Sword. Then for sub-weapons, I am using the Pressured Ridge because it has physical attack and ice potency. The Ceremonial Sword Z for physical attack and physical ability potency. And the Glavenus Sword for HP and physical ability potency, which you can always substitute this out if you don't have that, you could always substitute it out for Twinkling Star, Mad Minute, or even if you just so happen to have the Amaranth clause, you can substitute it out for that as well. Okay? Alright. Then materia is all stat sticks. And then, of course, because this is the DPS, you're gonna want to run Shiva. Alternatively to Shiva, you can also run the Shiva Ramu on one of your support characters, so that way you can help increase the DPS. Okay? So I think that will conclude me showing the builds. I am going to put in here a co-op clear that I did with Ryder and our other guildmate Meades. Ryder posted his video earlier of the co-op clear, and so I'm going to post this version of it now, so that way you can see from the his perspective is from the healer perspective, mine is from the DPS perspective, and that way you can get a kind of good idea of seeing what's going on there. Alright, well, with that being said, let's hop over to that video. Alright, here we are, and first we want to give a huge shout out to Meades and Ryder for doing this co-op clear with me. Meades is using Angeal, very tanky, and Ryder is using Aerith, and I'm going to be piloting Cloud here. Alright, let's get into it. Alright. So I'm gonna start off, since I'm going to be the DPS here. You'll notice Ryder is going to do Ceremonial Harmony. Angeal is gonna get Provoke active on him, and I'm gonna go ahead and start buffing my Cloud's ice damage up. Okay, because I had to switch to defense, I still have time with my command gauge, so I'm gonna go ahead and raise my ice damage up to high, from mid to high. Alright, I already have the triple tier buff for attack, so I'm gonna focus in on now doing damage. Because I got that triple tier buff, I took down the bar more than half with one shot. Okay, along with, of course, the defense and the resistance down as well. Okay, so 2 shots to knock down the force gauge. Now I'm gonna wait until he's stunned to go ahead and start doing damage. Alright. During this phase, the only thing Aerith is doing is keeping Meades healed from being taken out by the piercing gauge. Alright, so I'm trying to get my summon gauge up to take out these phantoms. Silence was put on Meades, which all of his abilities are physical based, so nothing to worry about there. Alright. And right after this, once he gets his veil back up, I don't have my summon yet, so we're gonna let him, he has to tank this piercing storm, which he does. Alright. And here we go. That was my last hit that I needed to get the summon, and I'm gonna go ahead and use Shiva to go ahead and get rid of these phantoms. Alright, at this point is the 5 twin javelins that Meades has to tank. Okay, so the job here, Aerith has to heal Meades. Meades got to put up veil and keep that going, so that way he doesn't die, and allows for Cloud to be able to keep doing damage. Yep, Meades went down there. We're gonna go ahead and get him back up. Alright. That'll allow for Aerith to go ahead and do a heal. Aerith didn't do her heal here. Alright, so we're back in the other phase. So we basically started back over. So I'm gonna go ahead and do some more damage. Get that force gauge down. As you can see the difference in when I have the buffs on Cloud versus when I don't. It looked like it took 1/5 of the gauge down, maybe 1/4. Yeah, probably 1/4. Let's see, that's 2 hits. But Meades got in a physical defense down right beforehand. So it'll take me 3 hits to get this bar down now. Alright, the bar is down and we lost Meades, but just in time for that stun to go in. So that way I can go ahead and get the killing blow. And there you have it. Alright, and that is how we take down the Eligor Co-op Crash. First and foremost, I would like to give a huge shout out to Meades and Ryder for joining me in this co-op crash. And now, if you would like to get your co-op crash cleared, all you have to do is click on the Discord link in the description below. Find the FFEC-Crash-Coop Channel and ask in there to help you with a build or show up with one of the builds that I showed you in this video. And we'll get you your clear. With that being said, if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel for more Final Fantasy 7 Ever Crisis build video and content such as this. And I'll see you in the next one. Later.